We were starving, you know. We had nothing to eat. All the wheat and the grain had to be shipped away, but we could keep those wheat seeds, you know, and they were distributed to people to live on, make soup and whatever it is, you know, what you could use.
Wheat seeds?
Weed seeds.
Weed seeds?
Yeah,
Seeds
from
of
weeds,
weeds.
you know.
Oh, not wheat.
No, not
No.
wheat. Wheat was
Would be grain,
shipped
yeah.
away. We had
Yeah.
to deliver that all. And there was only enough wheat left in the village to seed in the spring again or in
Oh.
the fall. So the people were starving because this was the only thing we could have, you know. Water we did have, we had wells, you know, we could drink the water, but that was just, we were swelling up, you know, the legs were all swollen up and the arms, you know, because of the water that we had in our bodies, you know.
Oh.
From starvation, yeah. The rest of the body was starving, but only kept us alive because we had moisture, you know.
Uh-huh.
There were no cats or dogs or anything alive left. That was all already used up. Animals on the farm, we had food for the animals, like straw and hay and stuff like that, you know, that kept them alive, and that's how we had some milk, you know. Milk was distributed to each person, each family, so and so much, you know. So at the end of the winter, you know, a lot of cows had died too, and some of them, when they died, you know, they were eaten up by the people. So
They didn't get enough food either.
yeah, well,
It was the collective farm still, right?
collective farm, yeah.
Yeah.
Stalin took all the wheat and everything out and sold it to other countries, and Russia, Ukraine was a menace to him, you know, to Stalin, because Ukraine was always independent and they were quite wealthy and had a lot of land, you know, and they produced the wheat and all the seeds, barley and everything, you know, for corn. That's where it grew. But he took it all out and let the people starve.
Did they... Now, they weren't allowed to keep any wheat for themselves.
Very, very little. So, and that what we were allowed to keep, that didn't last very long, you know, and then it was gone.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's the way it was.
Mm.
My family survived. We didn't. None of our family died.
Uh-huh. How
and
do you
that
think?
that was a miracle.
Mm.
We were all swollen up and so on, but we didn't pass out.
Mm.
We had in the springtime, at that time, you know, there were a lot of mushrooms growing, and we used the mushrooms, and we ate the mushrooms. That's what kept us alive in the spring. And I had so much of it that I was tired of eating mushrooms, you know. And when I was in the army, they gave us mushrooms, and I didn't like to eat them, but I did eat them because we had to eat something.
Mm-hmm.
But I never did like mushrooms too much after that. But I eat mushrooms now, and I like them, you know. But at that time, no. We had too much of it, you know. Yeah, but the grass grew very fast in spring, you know, and that's what kept us alive, you know.
Grass?
The outside weeds, you know, the grass, all different kinds of grass was growing
Hmm.
in the spring, you know. Some plants with big leaves, you know,
Hmm.
loddish we call it, but it was different kind of grass, you know.
Hmm.
But that's what kept us alive, because we
Wow.
were my brother and I, Henry and I, we always had to go and we gladly went into the fields and hedges and so on and cut the grass, you know, and brought them to Mom
Hmm.
so she could make soup. As soon as the spring came, you know,
Hmm.
then some of the mice that are in the fields,
Hmm.
they came up out of the ground because they were in the ground over winter, you know.
Hmm.
And there was very little meat on these mice, but we caught those mice, field mice we call them. And I had a bucket of water and I put the water into the hole. And then as soon as the bubbles came up, that's when the mouse came right away, you know.
Hmm.
And my brother Henry, he was so fast and so quick to grab them and kill them. And that's what we brought home, and then we had good meals. Field mice.
How did your mother?
We skinned them,
Yeah.
you know, and
Yeah.
there was a little bit meat on them, and that's what we used Mom used. And the skin, we dried up in the sun, and we sold them for 5 kopecks each skin.
Mm.
There was a store in our village, they bought the skin and they sold them to other establishments that made something from skins, you know.
Hmm.
But that's what we did.
Goodness.
Yeah.
What did your mother do? How did she prepare them?
Well, she cooked them. That's all she had with water, you know. That's all.
In soup, or
Yeah.
so you had mouse soup?
She made soup from it. Yeah.
Mm. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That was a delicious meal for us.
Mm.
You know, that's all there was, and it was the best thing we could think of.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but there were a lot of field mice. There were a lot of them in the fields, you know, and they came up and we caught them.
You had the system worked out.
Oh yeah, Henry and I, we were very good at it. We brought quite a few mice home,
Oh, goodness.
skinned them,
Amazing.
yeah, it was quite something, you know.
Yeah.
But to stay alive, you have to do anything that is possible.
Yeah. And you were quite small at this time. About.
Yeah, well, I was born in 1926, you know,
Right.
so this was in the 30s.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I remember it very well, you know, the experiences that we had, starving, and just didn't have nothing, that's it, you know.
Mm. Was it over in the spring then?
In the spring, as soon as the grass came out, we stayed alive, you know, because there were vitamins in there in the grass, you know. Spring came, you know, and then the people started in gardens and so on, and fruits, so that's where we kept alive.
Okay. Did it continue the following year, do you think, or was it just the one?
I believe it lasted 2 years.
2 years. Mm.
Yeah, more than 1
Wow.
year
Wow.
into the second year.
Sad.
It was pretty sad, you know. So many people that we knew in the village, you know, that died,
Mm.
and
Young,
just for nothing, you know.
what ages of people?
Oh, any age.
Hmm.
There were many of them were young people, you know,
Mm.
and they just couldn't survive.
Mm.
those were terrible times.
Mm-hmm. But your family continued to have faith.
My mother had a very strong faith, and she would never give up the faith in the Lord. And she was just even in these at those times she was singing her wonderful songs with the guitar company, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and she would always sing and talk about Christian principles and so on. You know, she was very, very strong that way, and I am very thankful that we had such a mother.